Welcome, everybody. It's so good to have you here today. We are very excited and pleased to have with us today Ms. Rosie Chapman, who is an actress and storyteller. She's performed all over Michigan and many different states and even in Europe. So we are so excited to have her with us today, and she is presenting The Spirit of Rosa Parks.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. How y'all doing? Good. I'm blessed and highly favored in the Lord. Amen, yes. My name is Rosa Parks. Anybody ever hear me before? Some of you, the old lady in the back, the young lady right here. Can you hear? You need my microphone?
I need a microphone.
Oh, you want okay? I can do that.
Thank you.
I never talked real loud, so I didn't want to scare nobody. Now, who knows something about me? Anybody? Somebody? Yes, ma'am.
I know you were a very brave lady.
I was a very brave lady,
And
yes.
I know that you're admired by many, many people in this country and beyond.
They called me the mother of the civil rights movement. Do you know why they called me that? Why? Yes, ma'am.
Because you took a stand against being treated not right.
That's correct. I took a stand against being mistreated. And so I know most people, all they know is I didn't give up my seat on the bus. There was more to me before that. I had a life. I was a, you know something, huh, Mama? I was a seamstress, and I grew up just like you. Now, I want to have the little ones come up front. Here, baby doll, bring you come up front, all right? Because I'm gonna need you. Have a seat right there. I'm gonna be borrowing you. What is your name? Logan. Logan? Hi, Logan. How are you? Okay, get ready. When I was born, oh, matter of fact, my birthday was just last week. Let me see. Wait a minute. Maybe was it this week? It was this week. I would have been 101 years old on February the 4th. 101 if I was still alive. But I died in 2005. But this is my spirit, for those who are wondering. I was born February 4th in Tuskegee, Alabama. My mama was a teacher. My father was a construction worker. He was a carpenter, and he would go around doing all kinds of handiwork. When I was born in 1913, did I tell you who died in 1913? Harriet Tubman died in 1913, yes. And I think she waited until I was born to make sure that something would be taking place in my lifetime, because she was a strong woman. She died in May of 1913. Anywho, back to me. My mama was a teacher, but it was hard finding a job as a colored teacher. We were called colored. That's why you see those signs all around. Colored only and white only. Where would you see signs like this, Logan? Come here, darling. Come over here. Why were the signs up?
To separate them.
To separate them who?
The people.
The people. Give Logan a hand. Logan's like, I didn't know I was going to be put on stage. And where would you see signs like this in Tuskegee, Alabama, and Mississippi? Where would you see signs like this?
Restaurants and bathrooms.
Restaurants and bathrooms, yes. Water fountains, yes. Where else would you see signs like this?
Soda fountain.
Soda fountains, yes. Yeah, Woolworths had signs like this. At the fountain, at the bar in Woolworths, yes. S.S. Kresge's had signs like this. Yes, people didn't know all that, but that was in existence. And so when I was born, these signs were everywhere in Tuskegee. Now, my father couldn't find work, so he decided to go up north to look for some work. And he did. He left me and my mama, and he came back 2 years later. And then my little brother Sylvester was born. Then my father left again. We didn't hear from him for several years. My mother decided to move to Pine Level, Alabama, to stay with my grandmother and my grandfather, Sylvester and Rosa. My brother was named after my grandfather, and I was named after my grandmother. That's what we used to do down south. So here I am living with my grandparents. My grandfather was very smart. He was very fair-skinned, like some people call light-skinned. And sometimes people would forget that he was colored. And he was standing around in conversations and listen and talk just like he was one of them. And they wouldn't get it. Then after a while, somebody look up and say, wait a minute, that's Sylvester McCauley. He can't be over here with us. And my daddy would laugh and walk away. There was a Ku Klux Klan riding around in our neighborhood. What was the Ku Klux Klan?
People haters.
People haters. Yes, Mama, what'd you say?
People wore the sheets.
Wore the sheets, and they weren't wearing them because they were getting ready for bed. Yes, sir.
And a precursor to the Aryan Nazis.
Give him a hand. Thank you, sir. A precursor to the Aryan Nazis. That's right. They thought that they still do think that white people are supreme to everybody else. And so my father would sit by the door with his rifle at night when he heard that they might be coming down the road, because he wasn't going to let them come in our house. And I would sit right there on the floor with my grandfather with his rifle. And I never forgot those nights when we would hear the horses down the road, and we would see fires down the road where they would burn a cross. My grandfather told me, and my mama told me too, don't never let nobody make you feel lesser of a man, of a human being. You just as good as everybody else. That's what I grew up with. In Pine Level, there was one school for colored children. Yes, one. The bus took the white children down the road to a nice new school. Our school was in back of the church in a little building. We had one teacher. Oops, my pocketbook. We had one teacher. Okay, children, come here. Come here. You're going to school now. Come on. Come on. All right. How old are you, darling?
8.
8. You're?
5.
5. Okay, y'all sit on this side of the room. Over here. Sit on the floor. We didn't have chairs. All right. How old is you?
10.
10. You sit right there. All right. Now, I'm going to teach him his math, and you're going to have to teach her ABCs while I'm talking to him, teaching him his math. 1 plus, teacher. Don't be looking at me. Work, girl. I've got 50 kids in here. Everybody's got to be doing something. Teach her ABCs. All right. 1 plus 1.
2.
5 plus 7.
12.
Okay, that's good. All right. Did you teach her ABCs today? All right. What, child? Look up here. Look at the teacher. Look at me. What's the first letter of the alphabets? A. All right, good. Okay, now it's time for y'all to go home. Go on home. You got to walk 5 miles. Hope you get there. 5 miles, because that was the only school in the area. It only went up to the 5th grade. My mama really taught me a lot at home, too. But my mama couldn't teach in Pine Level because there was only one school. He only needed one colored teacher. She had to go to the next town. And so she would stay in the next town all week and come home on the weekends. That's the only time I saw my mama. Didn't see my daddy until I was 20 years old. He forgot to come back home. So here I am with my mama, grandmama, and my grandfather. Come on in, children. Beautiful. Just march them on in here. We are marching in the army. Come on, darling. Sit up right here. That's beautiful. So anyhow, here we are at home with my grandparents doing all kinds of work. I was picking cotton when I was 5 years old. My grandparents lived on the land where they had been slaves prior to that. They now lived on that land. They were allowed to, and they were allowed to pick the cotton. So I picked cotton until I was 16. Most people don't know that. It was beautiful though, because the more cotton I picked, the more money I had to spend. Now when I was 11 in the 5th grade, I had to go to school in Montgomery. Because in Montgomery, they had a school that was ran by these white people from up north called Mrs. White School for Girls. That's where I learned how to be a secretary, how to do what they had, domestic sciences, where you learn how to clean house and cook and take care of family, and how to be a lady and wear dresses. I notice you don't have one on. I'm just saying. We didn't wear jeans and we didn't wear leggings and those little things that, you know, those little things that don't look nice on ladies. We looked like ladies. And I was there until I was 9, and now when I was now in the 9th grade. The high school was in the college. The teachers' college had a high school for colored children. Isn't that nice? So I went to Alabama State Teachers College as a high school student. I had to drop out when I was 16 because my grandmother got sick. I had to go home and take care of her because my mother was in another city teaching. Went back to school, then my mother got sick. My grandmother died. I had to drop out of high school. I did not finish high school until I was 21 years old after I got married. But my husband was determined I was going to do that. Well, so now I'm now in Montgomery with my mama. We moved. We live in a lovely home there. And there was this man named Raymond Parks that saw me one day standing on the porch. Yes, that's what I said too. He was light-skinned and he was too close to white, and I said, I don't really want anybody that light-skinned. He would come over to the house and ask my mother, can I take her out? My mother would say yes. I'd say no. He said, no, I want to take you out. I said, well, I'm just a seamstress down at the Montgomery store down there, the general store. And I don't want to go out with you. My mama said, go out with him. You haven't been out on a date ever. Yes, I was one of those. So I did. I went out with Raymond's, I can't even talk. I loved him so much. I went out with Raymond Parks, and we fell in love. He was nice. And then he asked me to marry him, and I said yes. And we lived with my mama. Yes, all three of us lived together. It was beautiful. My husband Raymond was a barber on the Air Force Base right there in Montgomery. And so when he wasn't cutting hair, he was involved with the NAACP. They were involved in the Scottsboro Boys case. You remember what the Scottsboro Boys case was? Who can tell us? The Scottsboro Boys. They were accused of what? Raping a white girl on a train. And so there were like 5 or 6 of them, and they accused them, and my husband, Raymond, was involved in all that. He didn't want me involved in it, so I didn't. I said, okay, then that's for men. That was men's work. I had a friend named Johnny. She was wonderful. One day, Johnny told me, Rosa, why don't we go to the NAACP meeting? Okay. So I went. Johnny was supposed to meet me there. She didn't show up. I'm the only woman sitting up there at the NAACP meeting. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just pretend I'm supposed to be here. I was very shy. I still am. And then they were going around saying that the secretary had quit and they needed another secretary. They looked around. There were no women in the crowd except me. I did not raise my hand. They told me I was going to be the secretary. And luckily I knew how to take shorthand and type because I had been trained at Mrs. White School for Girls. It was a perfect position for me. I never had children. I love kids. So I said, why don't we start something for children to teach them all about civil rights and to stand up for their rights. So come on, children. I would do all kinds of fun. Come on, all the children. I would do all kinds of fun things with the kids. I need someone to be a librarian. Yes, ma'am, you look like you'd be a good librarian. All right, ma'am, you're going to sit there. All right, children, come on over here. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Right here, Logan, right here. Today, we're going to the library. You know, they don't have a library for us. They have a bookmobile with old raggedy books on it. We're going to the white library, and we're going to go and we're going to take a book with you, and you're going to say, I'd like to check out a book. She's going to say, no, go to your own library. You just say, thank you, ma'am, and get to the back of the line. We just going to keep doing that for a few minutes, all right? Okay, y'all ready? Okay, come on, come on, come on. Go up there, go up there. Stand in line, stand in line. Get in line, Logan, get in line. Okay, go, 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 go. Go, hurry.
Hi there.
Hi, I want to check a book.
You'd like to check out a book? Oh, honey, I'm sorry. You have to go to the other library for that.
Say thank you, say thank you. Say,
Thank you.
okay, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Go on, go on, go on, go on.
Hello, can I help you?
I'd like to check out a book.
Oh, I'm sorry you can't check out a book here. You have to go to the other library.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, can I help you?
I like to check out a book.
Oh, well, that would be fine, but you have to go to the other library to do that.
All right, thank you.
Hello, can I help you?
I'd like to check out a book.
I'm sorry, you have to go to the other library to do that.
Thank you.
Hello?
I'd like to check out a book.
Oh, you can check out a book at the other library.
Thank you.
All right, come on, y'all. That's it for the day. That's it for the day. Give the children a hand. Thank you. I forgot to tell you little white girls you were colored just then. They're like, now why can't we check out a book? You were colored. Now you know how it feels, sort of. So that was what went on with me and me working with children. I love children. I had taught them how to speak out and to stand up for what they believed, no matter what color they were, just like my grandfather taught me. Now, they had a problem with voting rights in the South. What was the problem with voting rights for colored people in the South? Yes, ma'am.
Women could not vote.
Women could not vote until 1920. And then what else happened around 1950, 1960, when colored folks were trying to vote? 1940, 1920, we still couldn't vote. What happened? What did they do to colored people down south if they wanted to vote? You had to register. Yes, ma'am.
Also, I think you had to take a test. And I know Rosa Parks took a test.
How did you?
They denied her, but she came through.
Look at you. How did you know that? That's beautiful. That's exactly right. In order to vote, register to vote, a colored person first had to pass what they call the poll tax test, where their grandfather had to have owned property. Now, how many colored folks do you think grandfather owned property in 1950? Maybe one. Maybe one, two. So that was the problem with us. We didn't own any property, so that was one way of keeping us out. The other thing they did was they made us take what they called a literacy test to make sure we could read. The literacy test contained questions, sometimes, about the laws and the constitutions of Alabama. Now, they could make a test up any way they wanted to. And they only opened the registrar's office one day out of the year to register to vote. You had to be in line before they closed the door, and they didn't advertise that that was the day. You were lucky if you found out that was the day for registration. So what we're going to do is we're going to have somebody be me and try to register to vote. Who would like to? Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Yes. You're going to be me, and I need someone to be my friend, Sally. White lady, come on. You pretend you're white. Come on. So I have a white lady, and now Rosa, you and the white lady go out there. Rosa, there's your purse up there on your pocketbook up there. All right, come on now. You are outside because you're going to have to come in when it's time to register. You don't go outside, baby. All right, and I'm going to be the nasty registrar lady. This is only pretend. It's almost time for them to come in the boat. The register, almost time. Hope ain't no colored folks out there today, because they get on my nerves, boy, trying to register the vote. Come on in, time to register the vote. Come on in. Come on in. Let that colored lady on up here. Yes. What do you want?
I want to register to vote.
Did your grandfather own any property in Alabama?
No, ma'am.
All right, then you're gonna have to take the... Sally, is that you, girl? Lord have mercy, Sally. Hold up a minute. Come give me a hug, girl. How is you doing? You looking good. Look at you. Put on a couple pounds, didn't you? You look pretty, though. Come over here and let me talk to you. How's your husband doing?
Good.
He doing all right? Now, you ain't been to church lately. Where you been? Huh? You tongue-tied, huh? Well, the Lord sees and knows all that. Now, what you come up here for today?
To register to vote.
You did? Well, Sally, girl, here, come over here. You just, sign your name right here. Right there. Girl, I'm going to make sure you get a card in the mail. Now, you come on back to church now.
Okay.
God bless your heart. Are you going to see me Sunday? I'm going to look for you. Bye, Sally, girl. You're looking good, good, good. You know, she was as thin as a little toothpick, and you look good, though. With a little weight on you, look great. What do you want? You forgot?
Yes, ma'am.
What you want?
I want to vote.
You need to take the literacy test. Come over here and sit down, right here in the chair. Sit down. Girl, y'all people just think you just know everything. All right, here you go. Look in your pocketbook and get an ink pen out. Hurry up, we ain't got all day. Look in the zip part. I bet you it's in the zip part. I wonder how I knew that. All right, we're going to look at this here. Get the thing off the chair. We're going to look at the literacy test. I want to make sure you know how to read. Read number 1. You get 5 minutes to do this here test.
Am I pretending or do I actually? Oh, never mind.
Is she pretending? No, this is a real test. Now, you read number 1.
Draw a line around.
Oh, I'm sorry, here.
Draw a line around the number or letter of the sentence.
Mm-hmm. Do what it says. Don't look at me.
I actually feel trust me. Wait a minute, draw a line.
Number 2.
Draw a line under the last word in this line.
Mm-hmm. You got 2 right. You're lucky today. Number 3.
Cross out the longest word in this line.
My goodness, you got 3 right. All right, number 6. Number 6. Read it.
In the space below, draw 3 circles, one inside the other.
Hurry up, we ain't got all day. Number 8. This gets them every time. Number 8.
Draw a line through the letter below that comes earliest in the alphabet.
Read them letters so I know you know your alphabet.
Z, V, S, E, D, G, M, K, Y, T, P, H, C.
All right. Which one did you?
C.
You got another one right. My goodness. Number 10.
In the space below, write the word noise backwards and place a dot.
Well, I can't hear you.
In the space below, write the word noise backwards and place a dot.
Keep going.
Oh. Sorry. Over what would be its second letter should it have been forward.
she has to write the word Noah's backwards and then place a dot over the letter if it was a second letter if she had written it forward. You think? All right, now this one, I don't think anybody ever gets this one right. Read number 11.
Give your age and days.
You got 30 seconds to give your age in days. How many days old is you?
Rosa Parks.
That's who you is right now. Your time is up. You did not pass the test. You did not pass the test. So you will just have to come back next year. You don't get to vote this year, honey. Trying to be smart. Yes. Give her a hand. Wait a minute. Take your pocketbook with you. You coming back. That is an actual test. That particular test was from Louisiana. So Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama had those tests. You go right ahead.
I did.
Mhm.
To God.
How many? You took the test? When you took this test? I'm sorry. So you see how it would feel to be under that kind of pressure?
Oh, I was so nervous.
And they were listening to you read, and they didn't even understand what you were reading. Give her a hand. Thank you, darling. You know, you coming back. No, you are not finished. Oh, no, no. You're going to be Rosa again, darling. Now, they had several tests that they gave. And so they had a notebook of tests. And so the registrar could choose whichever test she wanted them to take. And some of them asked certain questions like, who impeaches the president? What law states in Alabama that you cannot cross the street with chickens? I mean,
Really?
yeah, very, very crazy things. That particular day, the first day that I took that test was 1943. 1943. I was not feeling very good, and I had to get on a bus to go home, the Cleveland Avenue bus. If you go to Henry Ford Museum, you'll see the bus that I had to take. And the bus driver's name was Blake, Mr. Blake. I need some colored people and some white people to take the bus. Come on, children. Come on. All right, come on, my little children. You are going to be my bus driver. You're going to sit here. You are going to pretend you're white, and we're going to move these chairs up, all right? Let's move them up. If I could have some adults help them move these chairs for me. Come on, move them up. Thank you. Okay, we're good. Good. All right, here we have a bus. Children, get off the bus. You're not on the bus yet. You haven't given the man your money. Get up, girl. You can't get on the bus till you get a man your money. Get off the bus. In Alabama, they had a law that said colored people and white people could not sit next to each other on the bus. We could ride the bus, we just couldn't sit next to them. When they said next to them, it meant the whole row. So across the aisle, if there were colored people over there and a white person wanted to sit in one seat, everybody had to get up in the whole row. Well, Rosa, come on, darling. After I took my test, I had to take the bus home. Now, colored people, go on and get in line, Rosa. Get in the back of the line, darling. When colored people got on the bus in Birmingham, they had to, in Montgomery and Birmingham, come on, darlings, they would give the bus driver the dime. Give him your dime. Colored people had to get off the bus and get on the back door. So get off the bus, go outside and get on at the back door. There was a colored section in the middle of the bus, and that's where colored people could sit. There was a sign that said no man's land, which means the bus driver could move the sign back and say, okay, there's fewer rows for colored people because I need some more for white people. All right, sit in the back of the bus. That's where you belong, right back there. All right, come on, white people. Give the man your dime. You just walk right on, sit down. Isn't that nice? Yes. Now, this particular day in 1943, I was tired, disgusted, because I hadn't passed that test. So I got on the bus like I was supposed to, but the bus was full of people. All the way back, people were standing in the aisles. They were blocking the door, and I got on the bus, gave the man my dime, looked around and saw that the bus was too crowded for me to get in the back door. So I proceeded to walk through the bus, just like that. Just keep walking, darling. The bus driver turned around and said, "Where do you think you're going?"
Where do you think you're going?
I told him I was taking a seat. I was getting ready to sit down.
Where do you think you're going?
He said, "No, you're not walking through my bus."
Don't walk through my bus.
Oh, look how nice he is. Don't walk through my bus. He did everything but say please. Say it real mean, darling.
Don't walk through my bus.
Ooh, give Logan a hand. He scared me. And he jumped up and he come towards me. Jump up. And I started moving toward him like I better get off this bus. He noticed I was coming and he put his hand out to touch me. And I said, "Don't you touch me."
Don't you touch me.
He said, "Well, get off my bus
Get off my bus.
and get on the back door."
Get through the back door.
So he sat down. And as he sat down, I was moving toward the door and my purse dropped on the floor of the bus. I sat down to pick it up like a lady. The bus driver jumps up and said, "Don't you sit there.
Don't you sit there.
Get up."
Get up.
So I got up because people in the back of the bus were yelling at me, "Get off the bus." Start yelling, "Get off the bus."
Get off the bus.
So I got off the bus and it was pouring down rain, and just as I got off the bus driver pulled off and left me in the rain. I never forgot his face, that Mr. Blake. All right, children, you can go back to your seats. Give them a hand. There were lots of people who tried the system, who would try to get on the bus and break the law and sit in the white section. And I would take their depositions. I was the secretary at NAACP. So we were going to try to take some of these people to court. And what happened was we never got the right person to take to court. There was always something wrong with them. There's one girl, she was pregnant, and she was only 18, 17, and not married. And we're like, we can't let her go to court. That wouldn't look good. So that case didn't get anywhere. The other lady that we thought was going to make a good case, she decided to drop the charges. So we didn't do anything about her. We tried this for 12 years. So here we are now in 1955. Come on, let's get back on the bus, children. Now, I need some adults to fill in the seats. No. You the bus driver. Why you get... You forgot you're driving the bus. No, people, you just can't get on my bus. You have to get off and give the man the money. You did not pay. Get up. All right, I need some more colored peoples. Come on, thank you. Thank you, colored peoples. All right, come on, let's give the man a dime. Come on, let's go, people. We don't have all day. All right, you go on, little white lady. You sit down. Little white girl, you sit down. Little white girl, you sit down. Little white girl, you sit down. That's the colored section. You sit here, darling. Yes. All right, come on, baby. Get a man your dime. All right, go on back. Get off the bus. All right, get in the back door. You colored or white? Okay, all right. You gonna be colored. You gonna be colored. I had to ask, you know. They all look alike. All right. Come on. All right. Come on, Rosa. Get it down. All right. Go on back there. Sit down. No, you did. You cut. I don't care. You colored. Get off the bus and get on. All right. Go ahead. Come on. Let's sit down. All right. You stand in the back of the bus. Don't look around like you're going to sit up here with the white people. Go back there. All right. So now this white gentleman gets on the bus. I need a white gentleman. You look like a white gentleman. Come on. I want you to pretend, if you can. Come on, darling. All right, so a white gentleman gets on the bus. He gives the bus driver his dime. He goes, proceeds to the back of the bus. He noticed there are no seats. Comes back and he tells the bus driver,
Mr. Bus Driver, there are no seats on the bus for me.
well, the bus driver knew what the law was, and the law stated that the colored people had to give up their seats to give this white man his seat. So the bus driver turns around and said, y'all know what to do. Here, turn around, baby.
You know what to do.
Make it light on yourselves. Say, make it light on yourself.
Make it light on yourself.
And get up.
Get up.
So everybody in the row had to get up, except I decided I wasn't getting up. The man next to me got up and I wanted a window seat, so I just moved on over and sat by the window. Bus driver jumped up out of his seat, came back to me and said, what do you, oh, I'm sorry. The white man said, wait a minute. I'm not sitting next to her.
I'm not sitting next to her.
The bus driver then comes back to the back of the bus. Come on, darling. And he says to me that I had to get up my seat.
You have to get out of your seat, Rosa.
You don't call her by her name. Rosa. And I politely told him, no, I'm not getting up.
No, I'm not getting up.
He said, I'm going to have to call the police.
I'll have to call the police on you.
I said, you may do that.
You may do that.
I gave him permission. So he went outside to the phone booth, because they had phone booths back then, and he called the popo. The police came. I need 2 policemen. Yes, sir, thank you so much. You look like a policeman, yes. Yes, and you, sir, come on. They did not have colored policemen, but you're going to be one. You're going to be, yeah, pretend you're white, come on. They didn't have colored policemen. All right. So the police, come on, you're getting on the bus over here, sir. The police got on the bus, came toward, the bus driver told them what happened. Tell them what's going on.
This girl won't get off the seat.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This girl won't get off the seat so this man can sit.
Give Logan a hand, he's awesome. All right, come on, do your job, do your job. So the policemen come back towards me and they said, lady, what do you think you're doing?
What do you think you're doing?
I'm sitting down.
I'm sitting down.
They said, if you don't give up your seat, we're going to have to arrest you.
If you don't give up your seat, we're going to arrest you.
Go ahead.
I said to them, why do you all keep pushing us around?
Why do y'all keep pushing us around?
They said, it's the law.
It's the law.
So I got up. One of the policemen took my purse and the other took my shopping bag. And they took me to the police car. They didn't hurt me at all. They just took me to the police car. Go on, use it. You got to go. And I went. And I asked them if I could stop and get some water. And they told me no. And they took me to a holding cell. I said, well, can I make a phone call? And they said no. So I went on to the holding cell. Then they had the bus driver decided he was going to charge me with breaking the law, and then they took me off to jail. Now she's got to go to jail. Yes, take her to jail. That's a whole different building over here. It's over here. It's uptown. And there I sat for a few hours until they called Mr. Durr. Mr. Durr was a white man that I had worked for, and a white man could come and get me out. And he came to get me out, and I went home, and Mr. Nixon was the one who was in charge of NAACP. And he said, I think we got a case. All right, come on, have a seat, you all. Thank you, give him a hand. You can go have a seat. In town, there was this new man. He was a new pastor of a church, and Dexter Avenue Baptist Church, and what was his name? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a new pastor in town. And so all the pastors got together that night, December the 1st. December the 1st and said, we need to do something. And because you haven't made any enemies yet, we're going to let you be in charge. Martin Luther King didn't volunteer for that job. They made him do it. Now, I need someone to be Martin Luther King. Yes, sir, right here, you look like a distinguished Martin Luther King. Come on, sir. So Martin Luther King said, well, if I'm going to be in charge of this, what are we doing? They said, we're going to have a boycott. There was a lady by the name of Miss Robinson who was a professor at the college, and she had a women's group called the Women's Political Council. And they said, let's do a bus boycott. We've been wanting to do this. And Martin Luther King and the other ministers said, we'll just use what they're doing, and we'll have a meeting at the church. Okay, children, come here. Come here. Go take one to your parents. So they gave these flyers out to the children to give to their parents. Go give one to your parents. Go on. Take them home. Give one to your parents. All right. Now, what did that flyer say? Who can read the flyer? Come here, Mama. Come here, Mama. Come read the flyer. Sally, Susie, whatever your name is. Read the flyer for them.
Don't ride the bus to work, to town, to school, or any place on Monday, December 5th. Another Negro woman has been arrested and put in jail because she refused to give up her bus seat. Don't ride the buses to work, town, school, or anywhere on Monday. If you work, take a cab or share a ride or walk. Come to a mass meeting Monday at 7 p.m. at the Holt Street Baptist Church for further instruction.
Give her a hand. Thank you, ma'am. So that was for December the 1st. Now, Martin Luther King went to the Montgomery people and the bus transportation people, and he said to them, we have 3 demands, and these are our demands.
Change the law that says African American passengers must give up their seats to white passengers. Number 2, bus drivers must be courteous to all riders. Number 3, hire African American bus drivers.
They did not take those demands. They said, oh, well, we're not doing any of that. And so they said, we're going to have a bus boycott until they change their minds and stop segregating the buses. So bus driver, come on, Logan. December the 5th, the day of my trial, they had the first day of the bus boycott. The buses went through the Negro colored people's neighborhood, drive the bus, darling, and the bus was empty. 75% of the people that rode the buses were colored, so they were losing money. We walked, come on, colored children, colored people, come on, you walking. We walked to work, we rode bicycles, the church supplied vans for us, taxi cab, come on, you walking too, Rosa, you gotta walk to the store, you a seamstress. And we walked, we walked miles. Do you know how long we had to do this bus boycott? Because they refused to accept our demands. A year. A whole year, 381 days, we had a bus boycott. And not until the Supreme Court said that it was against the law to do it, that we finally were able to get on the bus, sit wherever we wanted to, and not have to get off the bus and get on the back of the bus. Give them a hand. Thank you. Y'all still want to sit on the back of the bus, huh? All right. They're like, I like it back there, you know. Come on, darlings. Come on. Give them a hand. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Martin, I forgot something. Come over here, Martin. Yes, you can get my pocketbook back. Come on, Martin. I want you just to hear just a couple of lines that Martin, I'm giving you the pocketbook. I didn't mean to do that. All right, I want you just to read this inspiring speech that you gave on the night of our first boycott.
There comes a time that people get tired. We are here this evening to say to those who have mistreated us for so long that we are tired of being segregated and humiliated, tired of being kicked about by the brutal feet of oppression. but above all, fight without violence.
Give him a hand. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. He read that with so much emotion. Wow, I got the right one, didn't I? Give him another hand. That was awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Well, life for me I thought was going to change for the better. It didn't. They fired me on my job because they called me a troublemaker. They fired me at Christmas time a few weeks later. And they told me because I was such a troublemaker, they didn't really want me around. Also because they didn't have any more work for me is what they said. Now at Christmas time, I'm doing alterations and you don't have any work for me. I couldn't understand that, so I was without a job at Christmas. A few weeks later, they fired my husband from his job because he was cutting hair and telling people about what was going on with me. And his boss told him, if you come in here and talk about your wife anymore, you're going to be fired. He said, fire me then, because I'm going to talk about my wife. So we're both without a job. My brother Sylvester, I forgot to tell you about Sylvester. Come here, Logan. My brother Sylvester was so bad when he was little. He was awful. He would do things to get us in trouble all the time. Now, Sylvester and I were playing one day. Come on, Sylvester. We were playing one day in this park. Now, in the park, they had these signs, white only and colored only, on the water fountains. And so Sylvester decided to switch the signs. So we're walking around. Sylvester grabbed the white sign. So Sylvester grabs the white only sign and takes it to the colored only water fountain. And he takes the colored only sign and takes it to the white only water fountain. Sylvester, we gonna get in trouble. And that was pretty much Sylvester's attitude. I used to get beatings for Sylvester. When Sylvester do something wrong, my grandfather would beat me because I'd say, please don't hit him. He don't know no better. Come on, we better hide. Come on, we better hide. Come on, hide, boy. Well, we're hiding from somebody because we see this white man come along. Pretend you're white again, darling. Back over there. Come on. Yes. And so this white man comes along and he goes to what he thought was a white-only water fountain. And he goes over there, and I'm thinking, something gonna happen to him drinking out the colored water fountain. So he takes a sip, and nothing happens. And he goes on about his business. It was the same water, evidently. All right, put the signs back, hurry up before the popo comes. Come on. So I had Sylvester put the signs back because I didn't want the police to get us. Well, my brother Sylvester got old enough, he left Alabama and joined the Army. When my husband and I lost our jobs in 1957, we moved to Detroit to live with my brother Sylvester. Give him a hand. And I was able to find a job up here sewing and doing some other things. My husband found jobs as a barber. He had to get a barber's license, though, because they had license up here. He had to go to barber school and all that. You know how they do. And so here I am now looking for a job better than just being a seamstress. I got a job as a secretary and receptionist for Congressman who? John Conyers. And I worked for him for like 20 years as his secretary and receptionist. And the civil rights movement went on. Martin Luther King became famous, but women were not allowed to speak or get in charge of marches or do anything. So everything I did was pretty much put on the back burner. They would bring me out on special occasions, but that was about it. I didn't travel and speak like everybody else, all the men. If you see all the advertisements back in the civil rights movement, it was always the men, always the men. But women were behind the men. And then when I got older here in Detroit, people started recognizing me for what I had done here in Detroit. They put me on a pedestal here in Detroit. My husband and I, we found our own center called the Rosa and Raymond Parks Institute for what? Self-development. And what that meant was we were working with kids telling kids about how they could develop as strong human beings. We would take them on the civil rights walks, and we would take them down south. We'd take them on trips at the Underground Railroad. That's what we did. And then my mother died, and my husband both died. They all died, and my brother died in 1970. I think it was 75, 76. Everybody died, and there I was alone. But the people of Detroit took care of me, and I'm forever grateful to them. I'm going to open it up for questions if anybody has any questions. No questions? Yes, darling.
I was wondering, could you get any other jobs since your family, your family died?
Well, after they died, I pretty much continued to work for Congressman John Conyers and doing his secretary reception work. I had a good job, yes. Never had any children. I had lots of nieces and nephews. Sylvester was very busy, yes.
Do you know how many people actually got into the voting rights?
You know what? I also forgot to say something. Do you know what year they passed the voting rights bill where we didn't have to take a test anymore? I think it was 1963 or 64. The Civil Rights Bill was 63, and I believe the voting rights was 64, one or the other. So it wasn't until 1963 or 64 where colored people didn't have to take a test anymore, where they weren't, taunted about trying to vote. It took that long. So Martin Luther King worked from 1955 all the way to 1963, 64 before the bill was passed. So we have not been able to vote without being tested that long. It's very sad, but true. Yes. I'm sorry, the gentleman in the back, and I'll come back to you. That's okay, darling.
Of course, there was those two things that this young man was talking about very earlier, after Abraham Lincoln was killed. But since when Walker B. Haynes removed troops for Reconstruction, that those two things were denied by the whites, and then
You are so knowledgeable. Give him another hand. Give him a hand. Thank you. Wow. Because, during Reconstruction, after Reconstruction, that's what they tried to do. They tried to say, okay, we're going to let the colored people have some rights. But they really didn't. It was all talk. It was all talk. And then the whole thing on the bus, Montgomery bus transportation people, they did what they wanted to do. The bus drivers didn't have to do that, make us get off the bus. They chose to do that. Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes. When are they celebrating Rosa Parks' life? What's the date? Do you know?
February 4th. Yes, February 4th. 1913, she was born. Yes.
I was wondering, during the other marches subsequent to
The march on Washington, at the Lincoln Memorial. No. No, I was there. That was about it. No. I was just there. They had the march from Selma, the march from Selma to Montgomery. That march, they didn't let me march then either. They drove me and said, okay, you can get in the front when we get to the courthouse. So they let me get in the front of the line at the courthouse, but as far as marching, no. It's very, very different. The women, there are books written about the women in the civil rights movement too, that you can look at.
So the bus is on display at the Hidden Form Museum all month, or it's available to...
It's all year. It's all year. Yes, it's on display inside. It's inside. Now, let me tell you a story about that bus. You know where they found that bus? It was abandoned in the middle of a field somewhere down south. They found this bus in the middle of a field. Somebody had taken the seats out of it and was living in it like a homeless person was. That's how they found the bus. Nobody ever thought to save this bus. And so whoever found it said, we are going to redo it. So General Motors, I think it was General Motors, had built the bus originally. And so they found seats and reconstructed the seats like they actually were when I was on that bus. But no one had thought to save the bus before that. And so luckily the Henry Ford Museum took it. Yes, yes. Oh my God, yes. I'm so sorry. I forgot to tell you about my book. Rosa Parks, my story. So you can read my book. I did not write it. I dictated it to someone, and they wrote it for me. Jim Haskins. So yes, so all this information is in here, as well as pictures of things that went on during that time. So it's a great book. Yes. So yeah. Any other questions? I'm gonna come out of character for a minute. You had a question, darling? Yes.
How did they know what class you wrote on?
Because it still had the Cleveland Avenue on it. It still had it on there. Very bizarre how they found it. Just very bizarre. Okay, I'm gonna come out of character. I don't talk soft. I'm not a soft-spoken person, so lady, you know what? I feel sorry for you not being able to hear me, because Rosa Parks was never loud. And I was blessed to be able to meet Rosa Parks. Yes, it was totally, I was with her a couple times. And the last time was when they had the commemoration of the march in Detroit. And I know a lot of people. A lot of people know me. So a friend of mine was in charge of this march. She saw me on the corner, and she says, Rosie, come here, I want you to meet Rosa Parks. I'm like, you're kidding. So she takes me to the van, the Jeep that she was in, and I stood there and I had a conversation with her. And it was like, wow. But me and my silly self, did I take a picture with me and her? No, no selfie. I took a picture of her in the van, but not me with her. But I did get to talk to her, and that's why I embody her spirit, because she was so sweet and soft-spoken. And then there was another occasion where the Urban League had something down in Detroit at Joe Louis Arena, and I was able to go, and I sat right up front, and she was on the up there with the Queen, you know what I'm talking about, the Queen, Martha Jean the Queen. They were on the dais. And so I sat there and I took pictures of them sitting there. So I do have some pictures of her and the two occasions that I was with her or near her. Yes? Are you able to share the conversation you had with her? Oh, when I talked to her, I simply asked her, how does it feel? How does it feel to be you? And she says, I don't feel any different. And she was just that meek and mild. She says, this is all, you know, this is just what happened. And was nothing that I really did. You know? She was just that meek. You know where Rosa Parks Boulevard is? Her house is on that street. On Rosa Parks Boulevard, right off of West Grand Boulevard. And I'm not sure if they even have her house designated anymore. Because what had happened was somebody broke in her house and they beat her. Yes, somebody broke in her house and they beat her. Yes, sir?
Yeah, did you ever visit her when she lived down on Woodward and Alexandria? I used to stay in that same apartment.
Oh, no, I did not visit her. I know exactly where you're talking about, too. Yeah, I know exactly where it is. I worked at the NCR, which was down the street from there.
You did make a funeral.
Yeah, I went to the funeral, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah, it was unreal. And also they laid her body in state, the Capitol building in DC. So, and she was one of the only women they've ever done that for. Her body was in state. And when they had her body laid out at the Detroit African American Museum, there was a line that you stood in line for hours to get in. It was just totally unreal. The other thing I was going to say about Rosa Parks too is that they had all these awards and things for her and all this honorarium and giving her this medal, this, what was it, congressional medal, I think it was? Something like that, yes. So she was honored, but not until she was old. Not until she was old. And so someone decided to give her an apartment somewhere safe. And so she lived at the Riverfront Apartments, downtown Detroit, overlooking the Detroit River. That's where someone supplied her with an apartment there. after this young man decided to rob her and beat her. It was just appalling. And the young man said, well, I didn't know it was Rosa Parks. It doesn't matter. You don't do that to old people. Yeah, you don't do it to anybody. I didn't know it was Rosa Parks. So what? What difference does it make? Yes. Hi, I didn't see you. This is a friend of mine, Gwen Lewis.
I wanted to share with you that I had the experience of meeting her. I was in the car with her when they were used to have the Martin Luther King celebrations at Martin Luther King High School when they first started.
Okay. Come up here, Gwen. Come up here so you can hear you. Come on.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you. I like input. Go ahead.
Okay, it's really sharing how she was unassuming and wouldn't talk or wouldn't do anything. I happened to be going to the program for Martin Luther King Jr. that we started celebrating in Detroit. And it was very cold, of course, being January. Now, as I was trying to get into the high school, these ladies were trying to get into the high schools. The door, so many doors, they were locked. So as I saw them trying to get into the school, I said, you stay in the car, I'll park my car, and I will go around and try the doors. I didn't want them to get cold.
Hold on a second. Let's give Rosa a hand. Rosa, hold up a minute. What is your name? What is your name? Excuse me, what is your name? Ellery. Thank you. You were awesome. Let's give her another hand. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll make the story short.
No. Go ahead. I just want to thank her.
But what happened was, I checked so many doors that I needed to check. I got into the car, and they rode a little while, and I would check another door. The lady who was the driver said, my name is Miss Parson. And I knew she was a distinguished lady. She was the head of the Children's Museum, where it was at Kirby. This other lady, who was the passenger, was sitting in front of me. I said, that's strange. She didn't say who she was. I said, she's strange. I continued to check the doors and went around to the back to the loading dock. As I went in, I said, there's two ladies trying to get in the building. Then all of a sudden, Miss Parson walked in and said, Rosa Parks is in the car. We are supposed to get into the building. I looked at her and I said, where was Rosa Parks? It was the two of us. I didn't recognize her at all. So, long story short, once we got back into the car, parked the car, the only thing I could say to Rosa Parks is, it is so cold. I have an undershirt on. I hope you do too. Couldn't think of anything, and she just smiled.
Oh, that was cute. Okay, so Gwen, so you know what I'm talking about. Well, she's just so unassuming, and that was just the kind of person she was. My time is up. I am so sorry we ran over. Thank you so much for coming. I hope I answered all the questions. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want you to give the children, stand up. All the children who helped me, stand up. Give all these fabulous kids a hand. They were awesome, especially Logan. Yeah. Thank you again. Thank you for coming. Did you need to say anything?
Thank you so much for coming today, Miss Rosie, and we just loved your performance. If anyone is interested in finding out more about Rosa Parks, there's some books over here and behind me on display. You're welcome to go and check them out today. Thanks for coming. And thank you, Miss Rosie.
Thank you.